From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, it's Casino Secrets with Vegas Vic and Ziggy.
So now, somebody said, and I consider this to be an obvious question, but maybe they want a little more information. Define the difference between a pro and an amateur.
Okay. South Dakota.
South Dakota. Thank you!
Oh, thank you very much. Deadwood, South Dakota. I was right in the first place, but I wasn't quite certain in the moment. That's what happens when you're doing a live show. Sometimes you don't have a chance to pick up your tablet and Google it.
Yeah.
So, okay, a question. What was the question? Different?
What is the difference between a pro and an amateur in live poker?
Okay. There are the easiest and clearest definitions is that an amateur is somebody who does not make a living out of poker, and a professional is somebody who makes 100% of their income from the game of poker.
Wow.
Now,
okay.
that is the clear-cut difference.
That's.
But there are certain derivatives from that.
Could you say that if a person's primary source of income
Yes.
is live poker,
Right.
that would be a professional?
Yes. Now, for example, some of the very, very professional players, for example, people like the famous Phil Hellmuth, for example. He's a poker professional because his career is made from playing poker. But he also makes money from his books and from his appearances and from other things, but they are all related to poker. They all evolved from his career as having won the World Series of Poker and then become a professional poker player. So he would be considered a professional poker player because, as you said, his income is coming primarily from poker and poker-related things that are related to his profession. Now, there are many degrees of professionalism. For example, a lot of players in Las Vegas and elsewhere are what could be considered semi-professional. Now, some of those may be players who will go and play some tournaments per year while the rest of the time they do something else.
Okay.
In Las Vegas, there are many people who are retired, and as such, they have a lot of time on their hands. And so, while they may have a pension or a Social Security, they go and play poker daily, and they supplement their income by playing the game of poker. And they usually play to a very good intermediate or to a reasonable level, and so they are able to win a little bit of extra money to supplement themselves. And so that's the way it is.
Okay.
Somebody said,
chill about looking at the camera. I'm actually looking at the monitor to see if there's any questions coming up.
And I'm looking over where the tablet is in our camera, so I'm not sure what that was.
Okay. John Monty Vargas.
He's looking for questions. Yes, that's you, because you're looking at the monitor to write down the questions.
Yes, thank you. And speaking of which, we have another one.
Right.
And I've.
No problem.
Is it cool to get? Is it cool to get a massage at a poker table? The person wants to go. It seems a little odd to him.
No, it's not odd at all, because especially in tournaments, most poker rooms in Las Vegas have what's live masseuses, and they are usually extremely beautiful girls. And that's a good question. Write that down. and so when somebody offers you a massage, absolutely cool to do it. In fact. You have to remember, of course, they're going to cost you some money. It's it's about I think $20 for 5 minutes, but it's worth it, especially if you're playing long sessions, because even if you're playing cash games, in order to do well in poker, it's not one of those things where you go there for 10 minutes or an hour or so. You have to be ready to sit there for several hours and get the hands that you need in the right circumstances and with the right amount of money in the pot, so you can win the substantial amount of money to either supplement your income or to actually do quite reasonably well in that particular game and that session. So after a while, when you're sitting at the table like this, and playing with the chips and dealing with, the shoulders get sore. Okay. And so the masseuses are perfect to come in there and give you a massage. They'll give you a little chest plate to lean on. They turn the chair around. You lean in front of it like this. You can still see your cards and your chips, and you can play. And they give you a very nice massage, and it's absolutely cool to do that.
Okay.
Happy endings not in public.
Okay. I can't. The tablet's over there, and I can't tap. I can't block anybody. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Short-handed or heads up.
Yeah.
Something about aces.
The pocket aces, was it?
Was
it pocket aces?
I'll see. These are terms that you're supposed to know, and I don't.
Well, was it pocket aces or ace small?
I think he said. Whatever. Play any ace. Thank you so much.
So how do you play any ace, short-handed or heads up?
I guess.
Okay. Now, let me start with heads up. Heads up, any ace is a power card.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether it's ace small or whatever, because there are so few of them in there. It's unlikely that your opponent will have one if you have one. And so heads up, ace is always a power card, no matter what's along with it, whether it's suited or not. Ace small, ace medium, or whatever. Now, in short-handed situation, again, it depends on how many short-handed. If you're at the final table and there's 6 players, well, that's short-handed, but there's still 6 players. So ace small, unsuited, is not a power card.
Okay.
If you get down to 4 or 3 players, then yes, ace becomes much more valuable the fewer players you have. So the fewer players there are, the value of ace anything goes up, especially when it's suited.
Okay. Okay. What percentage of people actually, when they're professional poker players or they're doing it for money, what percentage of those people actually make enough to survive, to actually live without having to get a second source of income?
Yeah, well, amongst the real professionals, there's a handful of them, and you all know they are the marquee games. They are the Doyle Brunsons, the Daniel Negreanus, the Phil Hellmuths, and many of the other players that you can look up on the internet. Mm-hmm. And they are all very, very good at the game. But like with everything, the life of a professional poker player is fraught with pitfalls. Mm-hmm. Any professional gambler has the same problem, and that is Doyle Brunson has said, and I paraphrase his quote. It was if you're a professional gambler or a professional poker player, mm-hmm. if you haven't gone broke at least a few times, then you're not doing it right.
Oh, okay.
And the reason is because you learn from your mistakes. So if you go broke, you learn what caused you to go broke. Mm-hmm. Whether it's drinking or womanizing, or whether it's making bad decisions, whether it's playing too long or staying up too late, or not playing often enough or not playing long enough, not taking advantage of the opportunities, and so forth. Those are all situations that can take even the most skilled person and absolutely destroy whatever it is that they built up as their bankroll. Mm-hmm. And then there are other factors that could happen. For example, as you get older, you are more susceptible to fatigue. You don't play as well. You can't play as many hours or as many days. Mm-hmm. You also are likely to have illnesses that may make it more difficult for you to be able to sustain the level at which you have to be sustained, mm-hmm. in order to be able to continue to perform at that level. So the question was in regards to
what the percentage of people actually can survive.
Okay, percentage of people that can actually survive as a professional poker player is less than 5%.
Less than 5%.
That's of those that consider themselves semi-professional or professional.
Okay.
Amongst the cash players, it's a little bit higher, because cash game poker means that, unlike in the tournament, when you bust out, you're out, you have to go into another tournament. In a cash game, if you lose your initial buy-in, you can always reach into your pocket and buy in again.
Oh, okay.
So it all comes into what are your reserves and how solid you are in your life before you start and embark on this. Now, if there are people who come to Las Vegas, they live out of the trunk of their car, they come in at a few $1,000s and they want to make a living as a poker player. Mm. That's a prescription for disaster. You're not going to make it because you don't have enough of a stability in your life to begin that life in the first place.
Got it.
So you need to do something else, build up a bankroll. The most sustainable bankroll that I can recommend, if you're going to embark on the life of a semi-professional or professional poker player, cash game player in Las Vegas, mm-hmm. have at least $10,000 as you're playing bankroll, and don't play games that are higher than 2-5 no limit or 20-40 limit.
Okay.
That's because you need to have longevity to learn your mistakes, learn how to fix them, Learn to fix the holes in your life. And by bankroll, I mean money set aside that doesn't have to pay food, rent, car, insurances, living expenses, girlfriends, or whatever.